Welcome to Mindset, Mood and Movement, a systemic approach to human behavior, performance and well-being. How psychological, emotional and physical health are all connected. In this episode, I'll be sharing my knowledge and experience to help you overcome a challenge that you might be facing in life, health or work. Are you trying to do it all but feel exhausted and on the edge of burnout? Well, you're not alone. This is a more than common pattern that I've seen in my coaching practice. And in this episode, I wanted to share some principles and practices that I've worked with different clients that's really helped deal with this very pernicious pattern. Welcome to Mindset, Mood and Movement with me, Sal Jeffries. Trying to do it all. Well, I think the first thing we need to ask ourselves is, why? Why am I trying to do it all? What's that actually about? So we're going to break this down in this episode. So hopefully you can understand your own thinking and beliefs and perhaps driving forces behind this, and then the processes and practices that are into place. So first of all, let's dig into trying to do it all. What's that really about? Well, one of the things that's come up in a recent session was a client was highly successful, working in multiple fields, parent, family commitments, life commitments, and it was really a simple kind of balancing sheet of there are only so many hours in the day and there's only so much energy in the day, and you need to choose where and how you spend that energy. And the problem is, if we have a belief system that says, I'm trying to do it all, I want to have it all, I want to be everything, then it's really easy to do all of those things that you're trying to do through your day, from your work to your relationships, perhaps to family life and to fitness, and to not do them that well. The sense of rushing on to the next thing, squeezing it all in, you may know that pattern. So the first thing we want to do is to slow it down and ask, what's behind this? What's the belief pattern that's driving this behavior? So challenging that belief. If it's someone else's belief, your parents, society, your co-worker, your colleague, your partner, but not yours, then that whole disingenuous, in many ways kind of second-hand belief really needs a thorough look at. And with the client as an example, obviously I don't share details, but with the client in mind that I was thinking of, I asked them, I was like, okay, why are you trying to do this, or what's this about? And what we found was it was an identity issue. It was about who they believe they should be. Now, if you've ever used the should word, then I'm going to call that out. That's all about obligation. And shoulding is not a great idea. So if you're trying to, quote, be someone, that tells us it's an identity issue. Who you are as a person, how you see yourself, and how you want the world to see you. So when we come in at the belief level, we want to challenge that, because it's very hard to change the behavior if we don't change the belief. And it's very hard to change the belief if it's connected to our identity, who we believe we are and who we see, how we see ourselves. So first up, we're going to go in and ask, if you're trying to do it all, what belief and what identity is that serving or aiming to serve? And you might just find that actually on closer inspection, it's what we call an erroneous belief. It's full of errors. It's you don't actually want to do it all. It's not even perhaps on your radar. There are maybe several things you want to do. Run your business. Perhaps it's your family. Perhaps it's your relationship. But there are some key fundamental elements in your life that matter most and are part of your real identity. And the other ones, it could be, super successful at work. Well, define it. And why do you need that? So getting clearer on your identity and defining that is our first step. So if you're making notes on this podcast, check in with that. Whose belief is this? How is that connected to my identity? What or / who am I trying to be? And when you see that for what it is, then we start to loosen its grip. The second level is really thinking about activity and productivity. A classic place for people who I coach who are normally founders or freelancers and trying to do lots and lots of things. I hear it from many people saying, I've got so much to do. Change output for impact. So output might look like you've got 64 things to do today. But out of those 64 things to do, which one makes the impact? So if you're running a business, which one grows your business or gets better brand awareness or makes sales. The fundamental and important pieces, because a lot of it is extraneous. Some of it can be outsourced. Some of it can be trimmed down. Some of it can be automated. But if you can focus on the impact, then we start to shake out about doing it all and letting go of that quote all word and doing it and doing the stuff that matters. So when you're working through your busyness, your to-do list, whatever that looks like, the second invitation here is to start looking at what's making impact. Another client I was working with was super busy, put in lots of hours and really tired. And I asked them, like, okay, tell me about your fitness program. And they looked at me like I just asked them, had they popped in from Mars? And those of you who know me, you know that if you're not healthy and active as best you can be and on that pathway of well-being and fitness, you're going to have problems. And it's really important to build that into your whole way of being. Now, of course, we don't always have all the time in the world, so it's about making it work. Okay, back to the point in question, right? Impact. But if you are not considering how fit and well you are and how much that impacts your mood, your sleep, your mind, your performance, then busy, I don't know, doing more emails, writing some reports, whatever the thing is, has less value overall than perhaps a 30-minute exercise session before you start your day. So thinking about impact on every level is the next way of freeing up this pernicious pattern of trying to do it all but getting exhausted and obviously pushing towards the dangerous edge of burnout. And thirdly, this other angle I'd like you to is switching your awareness on, and we call it productivity. Let's stick with that. Productivity and doing, and shifting that description to presence. Now, being present is kind of a misnomer. It is used a lot in many of our fields, but presence, I think, is more powerful. Presence is being with. You know, life is always moving. The day's moving, people are moving, stuff's moving, the economy's moving, everything's moving. It's all flow. Presence is the ability to be with it, fully with it. So you're not stuck in any moment as such. You don't have to sit cross-legged and close your eyes. Presence can be with everything you're doing. And some of the fundamental elements of presence are focus, a lack of distraction, single-pointed awareness, not multitasking, which in my view is just doing things badly. So focus on what you're doing, and not that jumping between one thing and another, distracted mind, unsettled mind. And presence, of course, is another way of actually getting stuff done better. It takes down the cognitive load in the mind, so the exhaustion and the energy levels are reduced. And generally, when you do one job at a time, we get it done better, clearer, and it's kind of much more paced. It's very human and very natural. So to summarize, if you really are got that whole pernicious belief of I'm trying to do everything, but I'm just exhausted, and slow it down. Challenge the belief. Where does it come from? What is it about you that you believe you need to do? And challenge that belief, because do you really need to do it all? I suspect you don't. I suspect there are some things you really want to do, and they're really important. So find those. And once you've challenged the belief, look at impact. What makes the biggest impact in my health, in my relationship, in my business, in growth? And finally, think about the difference between productivity and presence. How can we really present with what you're doing, focused, clear, and energy efficient? And these three things, they sound simple. And as with the many things that are helpful in life, they are simple and elegant, but they're not necessarily easy. I'm not going to suggest for a minute this is a doddle. It takes some work and it takes some focus. But because it's simple, we don't need to get caught up in the complexity of more doing. We get caught and focused in, here are 3 key steps to loosen up this grip. And when they've come together, then you might find that you're trying less and achieving more. You'll be doing things that matter rather than doing all sorts of things without really knowing. And your energy levels will be reduced, bypass exhaustion, and you do not want to go to burnout. That is the wrong place to be. So I trust that is a useful sharing. It's something which I've worked in one realm or another with many clients, And of course, your own life story and your own business will be unique, but the framework and the principles hold true. So I invite you to try them out. It's really good to try these for 3 weeks or so. Commit to a decent amount of time, because quick fixes don't work. I'm not interested in quick fixes because, why do it? If you're not in it for the long term, then it's not stickable. So try it for a good 3 weeks. Notice what happens and gently orient yourself into a different way. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed the episode, please subscribe. And if a friend would benefit from hearing this, do send it on to them as well. If you would like to get in touch yourself, then you can go to my website, which is saljeffreys.com, spelled SALJEFFERIES, saljeffreys.com. Hit the Get in Touch link, and there you can send me a direct message. If you'd like to go one step further and learn whether coaching can help you overcome a challenge or a block in your life, then do reach out and I offer a call where we can discuss how this may be able to help you. Until the next time, take care.